What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the God of Revival by Bethel Music guitar tutorial. Today I'll be playing through my Helix patch that I created, and I'm just going to cut right to the chase because I know you all are busy people, and I'm going to cut right to that lead line that kind of shows up midway through the song. So here we go. So that lead line sounds something like this. Cool. Before I get into it, I'm tuned down a half step. I watched the music video and it looked like the rhythm player was tuned down a half step. This song is in D flat. So I tuned all of my strings down to E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. And I'm playing in the key of D now. D shapes. So that's why I'm starting on the 12th fret B string. So these are all eighth notes, how I'm playing these. So it's bap, 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 bap. Got it? So on the 12th fret B string is my first note. Then to the 14th fret, 15th fret, 17th fret, and then 19th fret B string. This is all on the B string. This whole lead line actually is on the B string. And then we go to the 20th fret, back to the 19th, down to the 17th, and then down to the 15th. So that first part sounds like this. And then when we start that second time, actually he does some like pickup notes if you want to catch that. It's 15, 14, 12 on the B string. So it sounds like this. And then another thing to add as well is he kind of uses some vibrato there to kind of widen out the delay and the reverb to kind of fill out the sound a little bit. So adding a little bit of vibrato would sound like this. And that lead line comes up pretty frequently throughout the song. So just listen for that in the recording. And so I have two snapshots here. I have the light lead that's kind of during the beginning portions of the song when the dynamics are a little quieter. But I have a more distorted, more sustained sound for that as well. And I add a below octave and a high octave there. And that sounds like this when the band is like full band. So it sounds like this. And so what I'm doing with my first finger there, especially when the tone gets more distorted, the strings tend to ring out a little bit easier. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of resting my fingers on the unused strings. I really just want to hit that B string only. But since I'm like laying my fingers on the strings, I can really kind of dig into those notes. And it doesn't matter what strings I hit, the only string that's going to ring out is that B string. But yeah, that's the lead line. I'm going to get to the rhythm parts and some chord shapes for you to use. I'm going to go back to my first snapshot. It's the clean setting. So my first two snapshots are for the rhythm guitar. It doesn't have a crazy amount of reverb on there, but it has just enough. And then I have a dirty rhythm sound for when it's full band. It sounds like this. So the rhythm guitar player is, like I said, is playing in D, so he's playing D shapes. So that's pretty straightforward there, nice and open. I'm on the bridge pickup. And so for the choruses, and I'm just going to give you a different chord shape that you can play, especially in the key of D. It's nice if you haven't heard of it. They're called 10th chords. And it's really just 2 notes that you're fretting, but it leaves the D string open. So this would be my G chord or my 4 chord. So it's my middle finger on the 3rd fret E string and my pinky on the 4th fret G string. And your fingers are actually not going to leave those 2 strings. For this example, you're only on the low E string and the G string. So I'm going to show you your G shape. The only strings that should be ringing out is your low E string and your G string and your D string. So that's the first chord. Moving it up 2 frets, move that same shape up. That's your A chord. That's your 5. It's the same chord shape. And then how I play this, the 6 or the B minor is the 7th fret E string and the 7th fret G string. Let me play those again. And then move that same shape up 2 frets. That's your C sharp. And then this is your D chord. 10th fret E string and 11th fret G string. So what I do after I hit that D chord on the 10th fret, so that's the part where the guy sings God of Revival. And the melody sounds like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually voice that and play that along with the singer. So it'll sound like this. So how I'm doing that is I'm leaving my middle finger on the E string and I'm moving my pinky up a fret from my D position. Makes it a sus. Back down to the original position. And then I'm using my first finger on the 9th fret G string. And I'm just kind of walking that up and down there. So it sounds like this again. And then my last chord is that A chord, which is the 5. So I'm going to put it all together and play that progression for you. So it's G, A, B minor, and then C sharp, D, and then back to the A. So it sounds like this. Sound good? And then also to kind of mimic that part that goes, if you're on rhythm down there, you can also play that. And how I do that is you can slide it up the same way that you played it with a D chord, playing the sus. You could play it down here. Sometimes I like to actually bend that note. It gives it a cool effect. Sounds like this. That's basically it for the rhythm part. The second guitar player is capoed. So if you have another guitar player, this is what the second guitar player could do. So since I'm tuned down a half step to D flat, and I'm playing in D, I'm going to capo on the 7th fret. So what he does is he actually capos and plays on the 7th fret and plays in the key of G. So this kind of transitions me into my Swells snapshot. So like at the beginning of the song especially, use your volume pedal and swell. So in the key of G, your first chord would be a C. Just a standard C chord. And then how I make my D chord is I actually take my C chord and shift it up. It sounds really nice, especially capoed this far up. So it sounds like this. And then my 6 is the E minor. Just a straight up E minor chord. And then how I play my G chord, I want to leave my B string open. So I play it this way. Adds a nice effect. And then when I go back to my D chord, it sounds like this. So I'm going to play that whole progression. So what I just did there, I just used a passing note. I just kind of walked it up to that G string, or that G chord. So it sounded like this. So I think this is the guitar player that is actually playing that lead line, because your capo's so far up you can't do anything lower, so I'm pretty sure he's covering that lead line, and that sounds like this again. So I hope that these chord shapes and ideas equip you to play this live in your church and gives you some ideas of what to play. And I hope that this helped you. If it helped you, let me know in the comments below. And the Helix patch is on my website, so if you want the Helix patch, it's down below in the description. And we'll see you in the next tutorial video.